Okay, so here we have our tower, and just going to be a quick tutorial showing you how to get this design of the tower and to get it into an orthographic drawing. Okay, so you got your tower over here in your free view. This is not good enough for an orthographic drawing. This is like our model, and we need to get into like our orthographic drawing, which is our front, top, side views. To do this, if everything's been saved, so you've done your model, it's great. Over here in the tab over here, we press drawing, and we say from design, and then we've got to make sure everything's blue, which means I want this model into our drawing. Over here, ISO, millimeters, A3, this is all fine. Here's the size of our drawing. And then we press OK, and it should automatically load this into the drawing utility. And then I'll unpause it when it's loaded. Okay, so when you're presented with this drawing menu, you should have something like this over here on the side saying drawing view. And what we need to do is we have to make our base view, so the primary view. From this, we're going to get all our other, like our front, top, and sides from this view. It'll be one of your three major sides. So in this case over here, I'm just going to make it my side view. Before I click my mouse, I see a bunch of things over here. I might want to change my scale. 2 to 1, that might be too big. Let's go 4 to 1. So 4 to 1, I have my model over here, and notice how my model still has the blocks in it. We can hide that later. We don't have to change any other settings, but you just click where you want this, so over here. And then if we press OK, it should render out these drawing parts here. And so we've got our lines everywhere, and we've got our dotted lines, which means there's a line behind an object, because mine still has the cap and the box built into it. You can go over here into the bodies and you can hide those. So if we can hide this box, and notice how there's not hidden detail lines anymore. They're just regular lines. And I can do the same thing with the cap. We can hide that. So now I have these drawings. I can then press this second one over here, which is projected view. And as I click this object and I drag, and then we automatically drag the projection view, and then it makes it, and then I can go up. And then once I'm all done, I press, and you can even do a 3D one over here, which is fine to show like visual detail. And then if you press the tick button or the enter button, it should automatically render those. And so now we have our front, side, and top view of our tower. The last thing, then you also have a title block over here, which you can press your text, and you can press over here, and you can fill this out. You are expected to have the title blocks with the information on there. You don't have to fill out all this information, but definitely like the date, the name of it. Your name should be here depending on the account that you made your Fusion stuff on. The one thing that's not here is the scale and the symbol for the orthographic projection. So you might have to draw that, and you can draw, well, we won't worry about drawing it yet. The last thing we need in this quick tutorial is dimensions, because this is also going to help you build your tower. Over here under the dimension tab, if we hold this down, you can pick a specific dimension, or you can do an automatic dimension. So we'll click this top one. And now that I have this automatic dimension, I want to know this length over here to cut this piece of balsa wood. I can hover my mouse over it and click it. And if I drag out a bit, so now I have this dimension's going to be made, and that's the dimension I want for that width. So I know that's a 160 millimeter long piece of balsa wood I need for that piece. You can also do the dimensions by clicking two parts and saying how far away they are. So this one over here, we're going to get the same length. This would be 160. Or I can say I want a length between this piece and this piece over here. and I've measured that, and that's also 160. So you can either just click the whole length of the member, or you can click between two dots. That is going to be helpful for ones like this one, this diagonal line, where I can't just click this whole line because see how here in the corner how it's pushed forwards a bit. So I need the long length, so I can press this dot over here and this dot over there, and now I have that length of 174.93. These lengths are the real lengths that you can use to start making your tower, because this is not the length that is on the piece of paper, because this is a scale of 1 to 4. So if we were to print this out with an A3 printer, that 1/6 length would actually be 40 millimeters. But you can get this length and give it to your construction person. The issue you have is this one over here. These lengths, this length over here, if we measure it, it's 117.7. Hold on. Undo. If you want a length between this dot and this dot, it says it's 129.2. If we go to our original model and we get this length and we measure this length, this is actually 136. See how here it says 136? So that's a different number than what we measured here. This is measuring the perspective view. So it's like the 2D view of that line, but remember our thing's coning in at the top. So that thing both goes in on our plane, but it's also going deeper into the page. So like due to Pythagoras, a right angle triangle, we're not going to get the perfect lengths of anything that's not flat. So for those lengths, you'll have to go to here and measure those ones individually to measure the lengths of your tower. Yeah.
With the 3D model that is made when you use that, could you use that to give the correct measurement?
Yeah, if you inspect all the parts, yes. But I'm also, for the assessment task, also asking for an orthographic drawing on top. So when it comes to getting dimensions, what I'm going to be looking for is anything that doesn't have a true dimension, like this, I don't want to see that, because that's the wrong number. It's giving the wrong communication. What I do want to see, and I can click and delete them, I want to see true dimensions. Like this over here, this would be a true dimension, because even though it's diagonal, it's not going in or out of the page, it's flat. And if we can check that, if I go and click this, if I click between this length and this, where am I? And this length, this 90.46 should be the same if I measure 90.46. So that's the same for that one over there. So I would want to see that in your drawing. Use a lot of dimensions. The general rule when it comes to these dimensions is you don't want your dimension to touch, you don't want the numbers to be inside the drawing, right? You want them to come out by these lines. These lines, if they have to touch the drawing, fine. Like some of them over here are going to touch the drawing, but you never want these numbers to be inside the drawing. So you get them and you pull them out. You also don't need to double up. For example, we have 160 here and 160 here, which means I don't need 160 here and here, because we've already done that dimension. And that should be it for the dimension. Then once you're ready to deal with this, you can press the export button. You can export it as a PDF, is usually good enough. Export as a PDF and put this PDF into, for your case specifically, put it both in your report, but also submit it as an extra file, because you can submit the PDF as a file, because it's going to be a nice, big, very good looking picture. When you put it into your report, the word processors, both Google or Canva, whatever, might do an error where it might only print like half the page. And then you'd go here, export PDF, save it in the computer, add it. That should all be fine, right? One thing I didn't show is a circle. There's also, if you want a specific geometry, you can get like radiuses and diameters. We're not going to have any circles, I think, in our drawings because we're all rectangles. But if you're listening to this tutorial, like in year 10, when you have stuff with circles, same thing. As you hover it over, the automatic one tries to get it, but sometimes you have a specific dimension, like an angle, that we can click if we click like angular over here, it's going to, by whatever we press, it's going to only get the angle. So we can force it to get the specific dimension we want, or we can use the this one over here, just the dimension tool, and it's going to try to think of what the correct dimension you want is. And then, yep, save your drawing, and that's it.